How's it going? So, today's thoughts of a God, because I am bigSHow, theGod, was to go on something a little bit more interesting. So the last few videos have been kind of some structure. We recap a bit, and we got into some whys, which brought us up to some forecasting and reviewing and all that sort of stuff that we've done previously. So now the topic that we can, or that I use a bit, that's layered on top of that. And it's it works for my mindset. And that topic today is uncomfortable. And I like this word uncomfortable, because when I looked at my life and the way it's sort of framed, I was always, in my opinion, comfortable. Always comfortable doing what I was doing. I thought I was clever in just having enough, And what I mean by that is, because as an example, I might be good at a sport and I'd beat certain people at the sport, and that was enough. Beat you guys. Yeah, comfortable. Truth was, they weren't that good at that sport, say. You know what I mean? I could have gone a lot better, but I stayed in the comfortable zone to protect my ego, or to stay comfortable, in my analogy of that. And don't get me wrong, I still challenged myself in the sports I was playing. I still went up the levels. I'm just saying, even when I was stressed out or trying to improve, I still kept myself at a level of comfortability. What I mean by that, there might have been, I was still doing the things that I was comfortable at, improving or practicing or training, but I wasn't doing the other things. As an example might be, I was good at, say, shooting a basketball or a particular function of the sport. I'd practice that because I was good at it. But would I get my cardio up? Didn't like the running. Didn't like the feeling I got from it. As an example, I started running more, but I'm talking about running to a point, or doing it to a level, but never always where I'm comfortable. Might be challenging within there, but that's as far as I'm going. And then stopping doing it again to that comfortable level. Never looked at that and said, well, do more, jump higher, run faster. This is as fast as I'm going. And it was enough to get me through this. What's your problem? So that's that's how it sort of, that's how I phrase the word now with uncomfortable, because there's a self-awareness and realization of continuing to self-improve in that self-improvement bucket. These are the types of things. Other people will say, well, man, you were here and you were here and you achieved a lot of things there. Okay. Maybe. That's a perspective. But I'm here. Here now. How do we get here? And so these are the types of tools that I'm using now to produce better forecasts and better self-improvement. So, uncomfortable. We'll go through that same process of, that's the word, what does that bring to my mind when we say uncomfortable? So I took down a few 5-second thoughts. Uncomfortable to me means stressing physically. It's obvious. Emotional discomfort. That's being honest about how I'm feeling or sensing going on in the present moment. So that's emotional discomfort comes to my mind. Fear, unknown, and risk. They all that's what uncomfortable stirs in. Judgment. Being uncomfortable kind of actually exaggerates it more. When you're uncomfortable is at the time, I'm thinking about how I'm going to be judged through this. Will I look stupid? Will I look... Stupid's a good one, but will I have the answer? Will I know what's going to happen? All those fear-based all those fear-based emotions, but then understanding that judgment's in there, which is an influencer. Judgment's a good one too, because me with my head, I'm judging myself. Okay, this isn't just a we thing. This isn't just everybody else judging me. I can sit here on my own and be uncomfortable at judging myself. So that's the same thing. And then there's vulnerable. So that's a word I've only recently sort of been using last couple of years. Vulnerable is a good word. It's kind of more of a symptom of using that word to work through fear. It's a little bit like uncomfortable. And then what I like to use, I'm using these as positive versus negative words, because the other one's fear and unknown and risk. You could argue it's like a negative kind of connotation to them. Because I might be like the word uncomfortable might have a negative connotation to it, so we don't want to use that word. Whereas I view it the opposite, because using that word puts it right there, and then it brings in other words to support it. So like courage. So courage is a word I like to use to form when I've been uncomfortable. because it leads me into it takes courage to be uncomfortable, generally, in my experience. Especially from conscious to unconscious or unconscious to conscious. So it's one thing to be conscious that you're uncomfortable. It's another piece that you're unconsciously uncomfortable or unknowingly or ignorant, or it's not until you later on realize it. It's when you get into a consciousness of realizing you're uncomfortable. That's quite powerful because that supports self-awareness. Because then reacting to things that happen or information you receive, for me, when I practice this more, I can perform better. Doesn't mean I'm perfect, I still might act out or get irritated, but I can bring myself back reasonably quickly to follow the process through just by being self-aware. What's an example of that? Actually, I got one from yesterday. So an example I put the washing on, call this mundane as it is. Put the washing on, it's finished. The wife comes in and says, "Have you hung the washing out?" That irritates me. I'm irritated instantly. But I answer, which the truth was, no, I haven't hung the washing out. That's the answer to the question. But I'm irritated because I'm being told what to do, probably, because it's not that's the end of it. It's then, well, can you hang it out? Can you hang the washing out? It's my washing. It's only like freaking 10 bits. It'll take about a minute. But I'm ready to react back. And I did. I went, oh, I did that. Oh. Okay, there's my reaction. Now I could have carried on. So that built up that little bit of me going. And I could have carried on going, no, I'm not going to freaking do it. I don't want to, whatever, right? You do it. I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it another day, whatever. And I can take it further. Yet even further by then starting to attack her, couldn't I? I could shift the subject and I could elevate it further and further. So I gathered myself there in real time, still had that flinch, still had that thing, sat there and went, oh, yep, no, I can do that. Sat there for another 10 seconds, 20 seconds, I suppose, and got up and hung the washing out. Not only hung it out, because it doesn't stop there. I hung the washing out, and she was in the corner, and I chatted about some positive stuff about another subject in a way to let her know that I was not upset anymore, right? It gets quite longer dimensional just on that one kind of simple case thing of only how I reacted to that. Didn't need a 10-minute speech to go and do, it's one thing to go do it and then stomp around for the next 2 minutes, really, or longer. So that's part of the process, because you're carrying it around with you still. I'm still annoyed about being asked to do the washing, and it's still lingering there for me to really understand it's gone. Is that while I'm in the moment of doing it, I've accepted that this is a good idea and all the rest of it, whether I agree with it or not, this is what I'm doing, present enough to go there and then continue the ownership of the whole process. And that's just me, because I'm like that and that's just one example. Realizing that is a controlling behavior from me. Because do you think people want to ask me to hang the washing out again? If I linger that on, if it exaggerates or elevates from there? Not fun, is it? So just in that small sample set, I can still see there's some improvement I could make. But still realizing that's still part of who I am as well. I still have things I don't do that well or react to. And that's just that little piece. So if I'm doing that to that, there's reasonable odds that I'm doing it in other things. That's where it gets really, really helpful, is that the more I work on that, and then I can transfer that over to another example of being in a meeting with 10 other people and getting irritated by a comment. Do I deal with it? Does it come? And does that carry over into how I present later on in the meeting? And how does that make me present myself? Or does it shut me down? Or does it turn me into a critic? What do you call it? Like, does it turn me into a negative team member? And it probably does. And self-awareness ain't enough. So I now know. So what am I doing about it? Well, what's great is I can practice knowing that whole process with this here. It's a safe thing to practice on. Practice it here. I can practice it here now in what I would consider a higher risk environment. Practice it there with these people. Then I can practice it with the next person and the next person, and then put myself in that. It's never the same though, because the level of judgment and other bits that are coming through my mind at the same time are there. It's heightened, which is perfect, because that means I'm uncomfortable, which is perfect, which means it's real, it's real practice. So it's real life. And then I get to analyze and review, see how that went. Hopefully the meeting was the meeting. Instead of just reviewing the subject matter and the processes and analyzing that, how do I analyze myself? What did my influence have on the group? So yeah. So the more I do that with myself, the better. So those are the words. And then I thought I would just frame it into an example. that takes it. So being uncomfortable, and I want to be uncomfortable, how do I practice? So a while back, what I did was I used my questioning. So I question, sort of like being a skeptic. Skeptic questioning, I seem to do that already. I do it a lot. But like being curious, but with questioning, but with some real purpose. And I framed it into things to make it not fun, but simplified for me for some reason, that how I can break it down. I'm going to break this down. Let's break this down. To like zoom in, zoom out style. So one tool I stumbled upon using was like versus dislike. So I would ask myself the question, like versus dislike. So things I'm doing today, why am I doing them? Why am I nutrition was a good one. Why am I eating this particular thing? Question that. So toast. Let's start with the toast in the morning with peanut butter, say. Why I'm eating this? Based on the knowledge I know. So let's get through that. So you question like, later on that day I had a sausage roll. Why am I eating this sausage roll? It's because I like it. I'm not eating it because I dislike it. Okay. So I worked that out. So the food groups that I liked, why am I eating those? Because I like them. Then I'd go, based on the knowledge I have and the understanding I have from research and what I've learned and what's been taught and what seems to be overwhelmingly true or as a fact. It's something I like. It's probably not a good idea. Right? So one of the ones might be ice cream. So I look at ice cream. We get a tub of ice cream sitting there. I like it, the flavor, the thing. But all the research and knowledge I know about ice cream and every other bit you add to an ice cream, apart from some fruit maybe, raw fruit, says it's not a good idea. Ice cream is not one bit, apart from the tasting the ice cream and liking it, any benefit. In fact, it's more probable that it's has a negative effect, even though I might not think it does, based on all the stuff that about ice cream. It is just not necessary. It's not needed in any form or graph or thing of my self-improvement. So one bit, it's just not. If I go ice cream, I could go, so we've got ice cream. This is what started me off. So I do that. And I build it up and say, where, apart from me liking it, is there any other value that we can speak of where ice cream, me having a thing of ice cream now, benefits me nutritionally, physically, mentally, emotionally, anything? So the one thing we might say emotionally it might benefit me, if we're stretching the bloody bar here, is I like it and it makes me feel good. Let's do that. So I like it, makes me feel good. Okay. For how long? How long do I feel good eating the ice cream? I really measured it. The duration of eating it. I think I feel good while I'm eating it, and then after it, I don't know if I feel that great after eating it. So that I'm trying to take out my understanding that it wasn't a smart option. Take that out. I still don't think I'm sitting there going, "Fuck, that ice cream was brilliant." Still theory-wise, I don't think it lingers long on the ice cream for me personally. So you look at that, and then you have the negative impacts of the ice cream. From probably weight gain over time, from the guilt, emotional guilt that builds in because of the knowledge you have. So you got that negative gain. So you negatived it just from knowledge. So that's what I did. Well, ice cream. And then I went through, so I went potato chips, and then chocolate, and then what was another one? I don't know, these big ones. Ice cream, potato chips, cake. Cake was a good one. Cake. It's a cake. Biscuits. Yeah, biscuits. And there's 5. Now, to some people, they might not eat much of that crap. The 5 I just put: ice cream, potato chips, chocolate, cake, and biscuits. There's a list there, right? Lollies. Put that on the list. Lollies. So there's 6 things. Now, on my list of things, I wouldn't even think about it. Be in the pantry, if I went to the dairy or something, I'd be grabbing. It's not there. No thought behind it, right? The thought process ain't there. So I did the like versus dislike of all those 6 groups straight away. And then I didn't have to. I said, well, like is the reason I'm eating it. It has to be a habit. Or it's just a go-to. It's emotional attachment, probably. Okay. We don't have that stuff anymore. So every time I pick up something, I go, what's the nutritional value in this? Question it, process it. And here I am. So it's through the like versus dislike. But the uncomfortableness I have to be accountable or be consistent, I struggle with it now. Because they're eliminated. Some of them are easier than others. Some were easy, like potato chips. Haven't really gone there again. So there we go. The steps of eliminating that. I mean, when you don't smoke, I can't sit there and go, oh man, really proud of myself. because I haven't smoked today. Well, you don't like the shit. It's not a habit of yours. That's not a challenge. You haven't got the like versus dislike concept, right? So it's only when it's in your wheelhouse and in your own like versus dislike can you kind of put yourself in that position, which is what we're doing here. I mean, I stopped drinking 15 years ago, but I kind of knew I didn't really like the taste of the stuff anyway. It was mainly from influences that, to get over the friends and things of that nature. That wasn't easy, but still, at least I wasn't sitting here popping into my head every 2 minutes to go and to want alcohol. So yeah, so that's the process I went down to strengthen tools I was using to know that I'm going to be uncomfortable with this. I need to build up almost a logical reason so that I can be consistent and continue so I can be continuous for a reasonable length of time. Because without some type of structure and some type of meaning behind it, value system, I'm probably eating all the stuff again by now, I think. So it's been, I recorded it, so it's been like 4 years now where I kind of did this. Now, I wasn't 100% perfect, right? I was good with a lot of the stuff. Well, I started extending the list, to be honest. So I've not been 100% perfect on it. I had chocolate a couple of times. And started seeing myself going down a rabbit hole again. Just in that one act. Which was beneficial in a way to test the system. And to realize how I can go back. I used to think to myself, oh, alcohol, I could probably drink again now. Won't be a problem. Okay. You can convince yourself of that. It's probably not true. And I'll use chocolate as an example. I love this shit. I think about it daily. Now, 3 years. I still think about it. It's just a fact. I'm doing my best not to. I just have to distract myself. I have to use the tools. Because I do think, wow, it's a big deal, a chocolate bar today. I'll use things like, well, I'll want one tomorrow as well. Then I'll want one the next day. If I justify it today, I'm going to justify it tomorrow. Right? It's just a fact. That's how I work. That's how good I am at this. That's how good I am at getting it. I look at myself and go, oh, no, you're not too bad. You're not that bad, Whatever reason I can come up with. So I need the other end of it to say, what's the benefit? Where is it helping? This is all in your mind. You'll want one tomorrow. All these types of things that I can conjure up at the time that I'm about to purchase it or get it. It's around me to have one. What's interesting is I don't want anyone seeing me have it. It's another awareness thing of myself. So that eliminates it in public. If there's a morning tea on and there's biscuits and chips there, I ain't having that at all. I look at it. Someone's brought in some baked some cakes, brought it in. They look awesome. ain't having that. But if it was just me in the room on my own, I can conjure a story up on my own easier, I should say. Whereas it seems to be very ain't happening with things, mainly because I've put myself out there. I think I've told people that I don't have that stuff, and I don't want to be seen as a liar, which helps with my accountability, which is why I share it a lot. So yeah, the like versus dislike system, they work really well for me, and it continues to work well, because what happened with that list, I started extending it. I learned that apparently bananas weren't good for my respiratory system. So I go, okay, bananas, take that off the list. And then I had bread. I read up about bread, not smart, doesn't really offer the nutritional value. Take bread out, see what that does. So once I'd streamlined those things out over a period of time, there's a lot to get over. I then took out bread, which meant toast. No toast anymore. At the time, I was like, fucking hell, toast, really? Some toast? But you put crap on toast. I'd have plain toast by then, just plain toast, crunchy, eat it. Then got rid of it altogether and haven't missed it. So bread's pretty much eliminated. It'd be very, very seldom that I'd have a piece of pizza. I had pizza, depending on with the toppings. Pizza once every 6 months, maybe 3 months. It's real long times, or reasonable lengths of time. It's not at zero. It's not at zero like the ice cream, potato chips, chocolate, cake, biscuits, and lollies. It's pretty much at zero. Bananas are at zero. Bread, very, very close to zero over a space of a year. I diary it. So if I went through my diary, it could be as much as 6 months ago. Don't really know. Anyway, it's just not there very often. So yeah, takeaway was another one. It was kind of simple for me to get rid of. So takeaways, and by takeaways, I meant the fast food restaurants. So that eliminated your brands, your McDonald's, your KFCs, your Burger Kings, all those types of takeaways, like the bakery. So I don't go to a bakery ever. So I eliminated a bakery. So that just reduced my options, streamed them down. There's no bakery. I don't walk in the bakery. There's no reason, because nothing in here fits my nutrition. Go, what about a roll? Well, no, it's got bread. Sweet. I'm not touching that. They keep me out of the bakery. Otherwise, I go to the bakery. Oh, what am I feeling today? Oh, a bakery. Oh, I might grab some of that. Dumb. So it just helped me unravel. So staying away from those places. I haven't been to a bakery and a takeaway for a long time. Now, the one takeaway we do have is like Chinese meals. I have sushi. I'll have, it's pretty limited. I might even have cooked roast. And I'm talking, well, on my diary, I haven't had one of those since a year, 8 months. Easy, a roast. Well, it's summer actually. It's usually winter. Winter I might have a roast as an option, because my wife cooks similar types of meals. Better than the roast, so it's better at home, so that works. So takeaways, the bakeries are gone, and so on and so on. But every one of those examples I'm putting there for me was a challenge, and it was uncomfortable. It was uncomfortable to question this. I had to use the like, the dislike, but ultimately it was just uncomfortable because I was comfortable being ignorant, not questioning it, telling myself it was okay, all these types of things. And, maybe it's, to some it seems extreme. For me, it's quite logical now, but I'm being honest and saying it's fucking difficult. And I think a lot of it too is I don't want to say it out loud because now I've got to adhere to it, right? Like I mentioned before, don't eat cake in public when you've said you don't eat cake. I intermittent fast, and so if I say I'm eating it, I don't eat till 4 o'clock. I don't really want to walk around with cake and sandwiches at 2 o'clock or lunch or 10 o'clock. What did he say yesterday? He said he does it. It doesn't make sense because that happens to me. People tell me, I'm watching what I eat. I'm not thinking. And then they've got KFC for lunch. Oh, it's a cheat day or something like that. Hey, all good. Whatever. It doesn't go together. That's all. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying you have to be perfect, but hey, and I've done that. So yeah, so being uncomfortable, in my opinion, is part of the process of change, of self-improvement, of leadership, of growth, and I recommend it. I recommend being aware that if you can put yourself being uncomfortable every day as much as you can and continue to practice being uncomfortable within some type of framework and structure, it will support the other stuff I've talked about. It will not support anything. It logically doesn't happen. If you apply being uncomfortable and take ownership of being uncomfortable to change, to reviewing yourself, to forecasting, to creating, to pretty much you apply that in any aspect and start to practice going, I'm going to the gym soon. I'm going to be uncomfortable with something there because I want the challenge, uncomfortable, kind of go together. It ain't uncomfortable. It wasn't a challenge if it was comfortable. I don't think that's how I would describe it. Or would I? No. Well, that was difficult. Was it uncomfortable? It was difficult, and so it must have been uncomfortable. Cool. That's the point. Don't tell me you went through, did the few sets. Oh, that was challenging. Was it uncomfortable? No. Don't know if it was challenging. Don't know if it was challenging then. What was challenging about it? And it doesn't have to vary much. If you're lifting the same amount you lifted yesterday, but it was uncomfortable today, there we go. Perfect. That's honest. That's real. But you're going to now deny that and say, well, I lifted the same amount. Oh, it was easy. And if that's true, then you shortchanged yourself, probably. It was good. Was it uncomfortable? Nope. Cool. Do some more then. That's all. That's it. I don't do that every 10 minutes, but I'm just saying. That's part of it. So yeah. That's a good amount. So at 6:30, I best be going.